I'm going to preview the Baylor at Kansas women's soccer game, which literally will be played September 25th at 7 p.m. Central Time on ESPN Plus. Of course, there'll be last notes as well. Apologize for looking down because I cannot memorize all this stuff. I'm doing this way ahead of time, so I do not know the weather for the game or anything like that. So hopefully there is good weather, so the game does not get canceled or anything like that, or delayed. Baylor is coming off of a 1-0 loss to Texas Tech. The lone goal was basically like a penalty kick. When you go back, they called it initially a foul, not in the box, but then they later changed it to be a penalty kick. They did a VAR. Just tough to lose that way. So thus, Baylor is 5-1-2 on the year, 0-1 in the Big 12. Now Kansas is 1-0 in the Big 12. And 7-0-2 overall. And the last rankings that came out, they were like in the top 20. For sure, top 25. I'll definitely expect them to be ranked still. It's more like where they're going to be ranked. And I'll put it in the title. And I don't expect Baylor to be receiving votes like they were actually like last game out. And Kansas actually played against Oklahoma State and they won 1-0 in Stillwater. But Oklahoma State is not as good as they were projected to be so far this year. I'm just saying. And there are other results, like they actually tied with then number 2 Florida State and Lawrence 1-1. They also tied with Utah State 0-0, but they have wins besides Oklahoma State, Missouri State 5-2, South Dakota State 1-0, Utah Valley 3-2, Drake 3-1, Yale 4-0, Liberty 3-2, and Oklahoma State 1-0. This is, I would say, is the toughest game that Baylor's played up to this point because it's a ranked opponent on the road now. It's not like Baylor's not used to ranked opponents because they actually played one in Mississippi State and they beat them. But that game was at home. Now it's on the road. And I'm going to just say this up front. They have used every player that played it, started it. All the 11 players are the same in terms of starting right now. So there's no, this player started so many games, the other so many games. Actually, all 11 starters for them started every game. Though technically, in number of defenders and midfielders and forwards, technically it's a little bit different. But at the time, they didn't set. It was a slash type of deal, like 4 or 5 defenders, 3 or 4 midfielders, 1 or 2 forwards one time. But the other times have been like 4 defenders, 3 or 4 midfielders, and 1 to 2 forwards all the other 8 times. So what are some players to keep an eye on here? And y'all could look in the description below so y'all could keep track. And I might have mistyped on the defenders part of it, like on the first formations, but I'll make adjustments to that as soon as possible so y'all don't have to see that mistake. Now, Sophia Dahl, number 00, 5'10" goalkeeper, sophomore, 7 goals allowed, 23 saves. Obviously, Sage Wimes, number 4, 5'4" midfielder / forward. That's a freshman, 1 goal, 19 shots attempted, and 2 assists. And I'm going to go like multi-assist players and multi-goal players. From here, Caroline Castens, number 15, 5'9" defender. That's a junior, 2 goals and 11 shots attempted and 5 assists. But Lexi Watts is definitely their top one of the top goal scorers on the team. Number 18, 5'7" forward. That's a senior. 5 goals on 20 shots attempted and 1 assist. Now another multi-goal scorer is Julian Gregorski. Number 34, 5'6" midfielder. That's a sophomore. 4 goals on 24 shots attempted. And there's Livy Moore, number 99, 5'8" midfielder. That's a junior. 2 goals on 10 shots attempted. That's in terms of the stars. There is one player off the bench that has 3 goals and 9 shots attempted this year, which is Jordan Rowe, number 10, 5'4" forward. That's a freshman, by the way. Now, multi-assist players like Kate Langfelder, number 8, 5'5" midfielder. It's a sophomore, 8 shots attempted and 2 assists. So I pretty much cover my basis on the multi-goal scorers and the multi-assist players. Granted, I know there's Olivia Page, number 2, 5'10" defender. That's a junior, 1 goal and 3 shots attempted, but that's really it. And there's Faith Johnston, like number 7, 5'8" forward. It's a freshman, 1 goal on 5 shots attempted. And there's actually another multi-goal scorer, Mary Sola, number 19, 5'3" midfielder. That's a freshman, 2 goals and 3 shots attempted. And like another multi-assist player is Jocelyn Harema, number 23, 5'9" forward. That's a junior, 9 shots attempted and 2 assists. I would just basically say this: whatever you did wrong last game, you gotta correct, and whatever you did right last game, you gotta bring it to this game, and you gotta adjust to the physicality of the game, because that was probably an issue. And I know Michelle Leonard did say that in like the Baylor article after the loss to Texas Tech. In the first half, it was not as big of an issue. It's the second half that was the bigger issue. And I know there will be questionable calls, but you gotta find a way to be a more mentally tougher team and find plays to win. Make plays to win or even tie the game. And don't let whatever happened to you on how the other team scored happen again. Now, there's nothing you can do about PK. Y'all, I'm just saying. That's just a guessing game. So let's not try to get them. If they would have scored differently, like a real goal instead of a PK, so be it. Let's not do a foul in the box or a handball box or even near the box, because what if it's actually, they call it inside the box? Because then it's PK, and you gotta be good in those 1v1 situations, set piece defense, corner kicks especially. You gotta shut down the best players as much as possible and try to limit their passing lanes and play a little bit more solid defensively into the game. I'm not saying it was terrible, because it was good. It's just that one mistake hurt them ultimately for the game. You got to win 50-50 balls in the air, and you got to have your midfielder step up a little bit more than last game. A little bit more. Offensively, don't, of course, on defense, one more thing on defense: make them turn the ball over in their own end of the field that they're defending, and if they get close to scoring, you got to clear the ball out and try to start a counterattack, because sometimes you could catch the other team with the numbers game. So that's enough about that. Now, offensively, you had a lot of corner kicks last game, but you got to convert. And you got some good shots last game, you got to convert. And you can't turn the ball over in your own end, because the last thing you want to do is put yourself in the back line defensively or even in the midfield. Turn the ball over there. And obviously, if they call a handball or a foul in the box, you got to convert to PK. Obviously, you got to. Or if there's a yellow card or red card, obviously if it's a red card, you got to take advantage better in an 11 versus 10 situation. Obviously, you do not want a yellow card or a red card, because so many yellows, means a suspension in the Big 12 from the last time I heard about this. So, yeah. You got to be good on your set piece offense. Like whether it's like a free kick or corner kick, you got to get some better shots. And hopefully you could score in this game unlike the last. And this is a RPI type of game. And I do not know like the current RPI because I'm doing this like before all the games played. Literally on September 21st. This is when I'm recording this, by the way. So who knows about where Baylor is right now. But it doesn't really matter. I don't think the RPI is that big of a issue. Because sure, it's going to drop because of the Texas Tech loss. But I don't think it's going to be like down to the 40s. Because they were like number 13 before like September 18th games. So that's really not the problem. And this would be a quality RPI opponent when you look at it. Because according to games through September 28th at the time, who knows about later, Kansas is like in the top 15. So yeah, and I'll go over that more after not just this game against Kansas, but even the following game against Kansas State, because there's no use to stressing the RPI stuff right now. But you, at the same time, if you want to give yourself a chance to make the NCAA tournament, you got to get some quality wins and make sure you don't put yourself in that bubble situation down the line. And in order to make the Big 12 tournament, you got to be in the top 8. Now you're 0-1, and that's not exactly an ideal start, especially when you lost that game at home narrowly. And that was your first loss of the year. And I expect this team to be very motivated after what happened last game. And that was their first loss, literally since the Big 12 tournament last year. And let's not have a hangover game. And all the pressure really is on Kansas going into this because they're the ranked team and you're not. So let's go out there, give our best shot, and see what happens. So anyways, if you like this content, hit the like, subscribe button. See you guys later on the road to 800 subscribers. Of course, ultimate goal is 1,000 more. So my mind of course, like video. Comment video really helps YouTube algorithms. Some more people see us. Sharing the video does help as well. Some more people could watch. And if you're watching and not subscribe, hit subscribe button. Read the notification bell as well. And you gotta make adjustments on the fly, both offensively, defensively, not just from first half to second, like from first half to second half, but during those halves. And if you're down, you gotta stay resilient, try to find a way to tie it up. And if you have a lead, you gotta protect it. So that's covering all my bases right there for this game coming up. And this is really would be a quality win in either direction, but it would help Baylor a lot to get a conference win under their belt. Because first of all, they did start really well in a non-conference prior to that last game. And second, let's not do like we did last year and not win enough conference games to make the NCAA tournament. Let's not do that. Let's get some Big 12 wins, and this would be a really ideal one to get, given the RPI for Kansas and where Baylor is. It would really strengthen it up.